Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Booming Encore. Check this out. I'm delighted to welcome back Jeff Weiss. Jeff is the CEO of Age Majority, and we're going to talk again about what are we thinking. Jeff actually has some recent market research that I'm delighted that he's going to share with us. So, Jeff, let's start off with online reviews. Love them, hate them, use them. What are we thinking?
Oh my good. Well, firstly, it's great to be back with you. Yeah, so online reviews, interesting stuff because we weren't sure if older adults are using online reviews much. We know that younger people do for sure. So we asked our community on Revolution 55, do you use online reviews before you make like at least a first purchase? And 44%, nearly half of them say they always do. So that was kind of higher than I thought. And then another 50% or so said they sometimes use it. So there's only a very small portion, like 5% of active agers who are not using online reviews at all when making a first purchase with a product or a service. So I thought that was pretty high, actually.
That is pretty high, but at the same time, I'm thinking, like, I know I check them out. Do you check them out as well?
Yes, I do. Depending on the significance of the purchase, and we'll talk about in a minute kind of the types of things that people check them out for. But yeah, I generally do.
Yeah, I do as well. And as I agree with you, I think it's also how much money I'm going to plan on spending. And if it's a major investment, for sure. I definitely check it out. Okay,
Yeah.
now another topic that you found was interesting was healthcare wearables.
Yes, and this is an area when I look at all the funding and money being spent in tech, particularly wearables is right up there. It's really high. So we've asked this before in terms of what if people are wearing wearables at all now, and over a third are currently wearing them. And this is actually up. We asked it like a month or so before we asked it the past month, and it's already up a couple points. So people are wearing more and more wearables. So over a third, and then the other kind of over 60% who aren't wearing it, 3/4 of them said they might or will wear one in the future. So that is like just huge growth. And for sure the pandemic helped drive that, but this is just something that people are getting more and more comfortable with.
Yeah, I know. I've got my
there you go.
Apple Watch. It's funny though. I'm beginning to I'm noticing my behavior's changing as a result of it. One, for good, because I am tracking what my exercise is and heart rate and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing is though, and I don't know about you, but I just don't like being nagged. And I'm I'm wearing a nag on my wrist.
Oh, I know. See, I don't. I'm resisting the urge to, not the urge. I'm resisting wearing. My wife and son both have Apple Watches, and they both also have the Oura rings. You know what the Oura ring is?
Yeah, that's a sleep one, isn't it?
Yeah. So interesting enough, we wanted to know why, if people were wearing them, or if they were going to consider, where would they want to monitor, right? So steps walked and kind of exercise was number one, not surprisingly. Heart rate, particularly as people walk, they want to make sure they're not going to drop dead and they're not overexerting themselves. Calories burned was another big one. Although personally, I'm not sure how that's calculated kind of on a watch, given the data that they have. And then blood pressure, which is becoming interestingly important for me as an example, was fourth. But other notables, sleep, as I talked about. My wife and son, the first thing they do when they wake up is check, how much sleep. And I'm sorry to say my wife.
I wonder if that stresses you out as you go to bed to think about, are you going to sleep well tonight?
Exactly, right? Exactly. So sleep, stress, body temperature, which I thought was interesting. And then fall detection is still from a wearable, because people still wear kind of the necklaces or the pendants for fall detection is right. And then we also asked, interestingly enough, and not surprisingly, kind of, what wearable people like, and watches were number one. But kind of the real watch out, I guess, for the future is, I'll call embedded items. And I've had a couple different discussions with folks, and there's one, for example, they're actually based out of Toronto, where they call it textile computing, and it's basically putting sensors into any type of textile. So they're doing a test now I'm participating in, where it's actually in underwear, and it measures heart rate and exercise and all like that. But, I mentioned before, body temperature was something people are interested in. So, think not far off in the future where I'm thinking about connected house, where you're in bed and your sheets can monitor what your body temperature is. And if you're too hot, it'll sync up with your in-home, sensors, and it'll lower the temperature in the house. So really interesting stuff, and
Wow.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's just
Or
enough
take
to
the
pick up.
sheets off for you or something.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
Not too
really
far.
interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know it's a fascinating area, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes to, and then how far it goes, which will also
yeah,
be really interesting to watch.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then finally, aging and confidence. You did a little bit of research on this. So are we more confident when we get older, or are we not?
I don't know. Let me ask you: are you more confident as you get older?
Funnily, I don't even know if that's a word, but
I
funnily
think it is.
enough, I would say yes, because you don't seem to be as concerned about what other people are thinking. You just kind of do what you want to do and get on with life, and you're not as, burdened by what the thoughts of others may be, I'm
There,
finding.
yeah, no, you kind of hit it on the head. So we were really interested in this topic. So about 2/3 of active agers are more confident now than they were when they were younger.
Mhm.
There's only, 13%, if you want an exact number, who are less confident, right? So the vast majority of active agers are at least as confident, if not more confident, they were when they were younger. Not surprising, because I don't know if we've talked about the U curve of happiness, which
Yeah.
basically shows your happiest when you're younger as you get older, and you're least happy when you're 47 to 48 years old, right? So as you turn that corner, things happen. People care less about what other people think, say, and do, right? It's just like, I don't care anymore, right? Doesn't bug me as more. Think about younger people that we know who should be nameless, who are just care, oh, what are they going to think? What, all that kind of stuff, right? Secondly, just because past experiences and successes, just people are more confident, right? It's like, I know I failed before, I can get by it. So they're more confident with that. And then just different priorities, right? It's like, I care less about, kind of what other people think. I'm more, into whatever your priorities happen to be. And then some of the other things that came up, just people are more comfortable of the mistakes that they've made, right? So when you're young, every little mistake kind of seems bigger than it is. So more comfortable, and just less stress, as you were talking about overall, just in terms of whether it be family, finances, health, things like that. Sure, people have different stress levels or things, but they just tend to be kind of less stressed as they get older. So yeah, really interesting stuff.
And are you noticing any, or did anything come out on how people look, like their concerns about their appearance as they age and how that affects their confidence at all?
Not in that specific research. In other research we've done a couple rounds of it over the years, where as people get older, they are less concerned about how they look
Mm.
compared to younger people. It doesn't mean they don't care about how they look. They're just less concerned kind of what other people think about it. And also they're just, they just want to look the best they can for whoever they are, whatever age they are, right? And they're just less concerned. And I think, particularly with social media and with the selfies, and it's just, here's my life, particularly for younger people, there's way more stress about how you're always looking, because you always have to be on for the
Yeah.
camera, so to speak. So yeah, no, that was an interesting question too.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see, because you see the media kind of hype that up about what, quote, looking good looks like when you age. And it's nice to hear that we've probably got healthier attitudes than possibly what's expected out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, again, Jeff, some really interesting stuff. Thanks so much for sharing this with us. Really appreciate it.
Well, great to join you again, Susan. Thanks.
And to everybody out there, hope you found this information interesting and it helps you live your best booming encore. Bye for now, everyone.